BJ Penn.
Eddie.
Coming from that way. We
Yes,
thank you.
yes, yes,
We definitely
yes.
thank you.
But it's funny. We've been talking about WWE, and again, we are going to talk about the professional wrestling and all the different grapplings and all of that. But for the purpose of today, I think when UFC first started, getting hot and everything, people wondered, could the professional wrestlers? And I remember, you guys remember the WWF? You remember that, Rodney? WWF?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Randy Macho Man, Savage,
Yeah.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
You just Slim Jim.
Well, back then, I don't know if you guys realized that there was a big controversy. Could the UFC and what would happen if these two juggernauts met? Okay, who would win? Who would win? And I'll never forget one time Chuck Norris and Herschel Walker and a couple other guys went to a fight, went to a wrestling match and got it, almost got it on with some of the wrestlers. And so the question was, could martial artists beat wrestling? And so, of course, now we know, because not only was Brock Lesnar one of the guys, but one of the guys I used to like too came over and found out the hard way that it's a different world. It's not a show anymore. Size doesn't mean that you're going to win. You know what I mean? So it truly is technique. And now, even Brock Lesnar, he wants to come back. Did you guys know that?
I did hear something about him.
He wants to come back.
Well,
because he wants to be a real fighter.
Ken Shamrock, he did a little WWE wrestling for a minute or something, didn't he?
Yeah, early days.
Yeah, in the early days before he came to UFC. I think he's going to bodyguard now.
Yeah.
The last thing I heard about him, that he did a bodyguard for 50 Cent. But he said, he really enjoyed it. He said the Tim was a gentleman, and he had a good time at it. So, it's good to know he's transitioning into something else that, still equitable for him.
Well, do you think he would just say, hey, watch my tapes before you mess with me?
I don't think he would.
Watch my tapes before you mess with me.
No.
But Ken Shamrock, he's give him his credit. He's one of the pioneers, helped make it to what he did. But he also had to go back and he had to learn jits, because he started out as a wrestler. So he had to go back and learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And that's how he got to the level he was. And then, of course, he passed it on to his adopted brother, Frank. And Frank took it to the next level because, he's a true tactician.
Frank is definitely something else.
Yeah, so, but a lot of, I was listening to something the Undertaker said. Undertaker said that he wanted to, if he was 20 years younger, he would go to the UFC because he wants to fight. He said he loves the pureness of it, the realness of it. So, but I've yet to hear any UFC fighter say, I want to be a pro wrestler now. I want to give this up.
I think for the pro wrestler that for his era, that's what it was. I think he sees, I think the UFC as a step up from him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, he said into realism.
Right.
Because I think still even in the structure, in their art, they're going through the structure of a fight, even though it's fake. They're going through every aspect of it, throwing the punch, throwing that knee, doing whatever. So they're still in shape for this stuff. The falls and dives and everything they're taking. So you gotta give these guys.
They're true athletes.
Thank you, credit for being true athletes.
They're true athletes.
So in that aspect, I'm sure they have that hunger for the true fight too.
Yeah.
It's like we look at things now and say, dang, they didn't have this in our day. I wish I had, but that's the changing of the guard, and and that's just time passing. So I think that if the UFC had been around earlier in wrestling days, I think that it may have transgressed a long time ago. That a lot of them that are in the business now might have been UFC fighters.
I think so, because I think of people like, the younger guys like Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley tried to, he did Strikeforce for a minute. Now he said that it wasn't what he thought it would be. He needs to get more skills before he makes that full transition over, because he wanted to take the slower route because he saw the trueness. He didn't want to be thrown in with the best mixed martial artists, because Bobby Lashley, that's a big brother, okay? Big, strong brother. But again, he realized that he was just not. In fact, he had a sparring session with Thiago Silva, okay? And Thiago walked right through him, and he said, he began to break down why he was able to do that. I'm trying to Dave Batista, one of the biggest stars in the WWE. is trying to do mixed martial arts. And you guys are like this. Remember I mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's trying to do that too.
He's trying to do what?
Mixed martial arts. Yeah.
What? Selling t-shirts?
No, he's trying to fight. He's trying to fight. And he wants to get into mixed martial arts. Now, I don't know.
They're going to find out it's a lot different fight. You know,
Yeah.
I hate this. I don't know if you remember, and we kind of run it off for a minute, but if you remember Ron Van Brown, the Black Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and you know, he fought, I think he trained T-Mac to do the...
Tomahawk, yeah. Last Dragon?
The Last Dragon, yeah. Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
Okay, you know, he trained
Shoulder.
him for all this stuff, and in his day, he was a great martial artist, but things have changed. And did you see, he tried to go in the octagon?
Yeah.
And he knew nothing about the ground.
Yeah.
And right away, he was taken to the ground, and rear naked choke was put on him, and when the guy put the choke on him, he just, you know, released both hands and threw his hands up like, you know, just gave his neck like, you know, I'm beat, you know.
Yeah.
I
Worse than you could do.
Exactly. I don't think he knew how to tap out.
Yeah.
You know, he just said, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gone. But that's just, you know, the change, man.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what I see about Van Damme. It's past his period. I mean, we hate to say that, seriously,
Yeah.
as fighters. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, all you know, respects to him,
Mhm.
you know, for what he's done as a martial artist.
Mhm.
You know, but here we go. You know, you got to walk in your lane.
Yeah.
And you're too old. And he's actually, he's accomplished. He got some money, but this is not the time to get brain damage, man.
Right. You enjoy your money.
Enjoy your money. There you
Enjoy
go.
your
Enjoy
money.
your money, man.
Another quick tweet comes in for you guys from @SuperCalo, C-A-L-O. Says Ronda Rousey is the Ric Flair of the MMA.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But if you think about it, I mean, you know, they call her Rowdy Ronda, and she takes him out. But you know, and her name Rowdy Ronda. She says she actually got it from Rowdy.
Roddy Piper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But just for that rowdiness, and you know, and Ric Flair, you know, he got out there and he pushes his thing.
But you know what? Ric Flair says something. First of all, if there's a comparison that they're making between the two, it's because Ric Flair was a true tactician. And I love what he said about Hulk Hogan. He said, man, Hulk Hogan couldn't do a technique to save his life. Okay, it was just straight muscle. But quite as kept, Ric Flair was a tactician. If you look at what he was doing, you know, he was really putting it on people. So, hey, there's a reason why, Four Horsemen.
And then what's really trending right now, guys, just so you know, this whole Rashard Evans thing. This is late breaking, but Rashard Evans injures his leg, and we will be out for his bout that's coming up in a couple of weeks against Daniel
Cormier.
So that's been scratched from UFC.
Wait, you say he broke his leg?
Says he injured his leg.
Oh,
Say
injured,
broke.
okay.
Yeah, say injured. So
Sorry,
he's out.
But we're talking about what? That's in March. What's that? The 15th of March.
That's the March 17th bout.
March
No, I'm
17th.
sorry. This is
February.
end of February.
End of
Oh, it's in February.
Yeah.
Fight. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought he was on the card in March. Yeah, I'm thinking he had time, but no, week-wise, won't let him go.
No, not, well, depends on what kind of injury it is. If it's a soft muscle tear, then yeah, he's gonna be out for half a year. You know, and it's kind of sad because, you know, Rashad was actually number 2 in earnings last year, right behind Anderson Silva. And, you know, he's not even a champion. So just to show you, again, you know, the personalities is what helps, you know.
Okay,
push the
he's
pay.
out, I mean,
Does
you know,
anybody know who,
he's out there a lot.
Anybody know who Chael Sonnen is?
Chael
Yes,
Sonnen, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chael Sonnen has just
Character.
tweeted out right now that he will replace Rashard Evans and fight Daniel on 10 days notice.
No.
But you know what?
No.
I commend him for that, because you know one thing, you can say Chael has a big mouth and he gets in, he doesn't do anything, but Chael sells tickets. You know, on the flip side of it, I really do think the guy's a gentleman. Because I mean, in his talking, he's very screened in what he says. He knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's just not jumping out of there.
Yeah.
You know, so I give him credit for a good mind in that. Then on the flip side, again, he and Rashad are really good friends.
But he's also friends with Damon Cormier. You know, they're announcers too. They're sportscasters for the UFC, so they're on there a lot. So it's gonna be interesting.
Well, I mean, him and Rashad were good. Well, then the reason I said that is them jumping into this, and with them being friends also too. That's kind of like kind of funny to say like this, but the more the merrier, because I mean, he and Rashad were good friends too, and well, they ended up in the ring together.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, Rashad was beating down on him, and Chael said, "Ouch, ouch!"
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Rashad, stop!" He was like, "Oh, what?" And he said, "Ouch!" He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then I remember, wait a minute, now we fighting.
No, this is not a sparring
Yeah,
session.
I gotta get back on you. I gotta get back on you.
And
So,
I hate to keep, interrupting the show, guys.
No,
but,
you good.
You got another tweet from @SuperMCBoy. He says, honestly, I'm a big fan of CM Punk, especially as a pro wrestler, but if he chose to be an MMA fighter, I'll still be a fan of his.
But that's good. I mean, that's true to the bone. And, if you see a guy that you think can make a transition and you're a great fan of him, stand by it.
Yeah, stand by it.
Yeah.
I mean, because,
Give the guy credit for his work.
yeah, you giving him brand too, but wasn't CM Punk talking about retiring at one point? I think he is. So, hey, if you want to come on to the other side.
Everyone's talking about saying he's going to MMA now. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He was retiring from wrestling. So, yeah, because, again, the truth can be addictive. It can hurt. Let me tell you from first-hand account. But it can be addictive, you know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, the truth is still the truth.
It is, and you can't argue it. Well, you can argue it. You can get mad at it, but you can't do nothing about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so very true.
So, but the Gracies really changed wrestling for, I think, America, because, we look at the programs, there's about 90, okay, let me get this right. There are about 95 programs on Division I wrestling programs for college level, okay? And I'm talking about kids coming out of high school, okay? So obviously there are more high schools than there are colleges. And on Division II and III, there are about 150 programs in the country. So the JITS gave kids that came from this wrestling background all this energy, something to do. So when you think about it, the UFC has about 447 fighters on their roster. That's just the UFC, okay? So that doesn't include the local promotions. That doesn't include Bellator. That doesn't include, what's the other one?
Taxes.
Yeah, all of those. Doesn't include all those promotions. But it gives these kids something to do. And jiu-jitsu, was the next natural step. I look at somebody like Uriah Faber, who said that, it basically saved his life because now he has somewhere to put the energy. And then you talk about Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen comes from a wrestling background. Daniel Cormier comes from a, wrestling background. Yeah, Olympic champion.
Well, since JITS did come into the picture, as far as wrestling, even in school, I remember, wrestling some.
Yeah.
But, at the time, basketball, baseball, football, and track were kind of a little more,
right.
Outstanding. But I think with the JITS coming in, and even as we were talking, we talked about, on some of the other shows about what's good art for kids to start in, and we talked about karate and taekwondo, but JITS is a great place for a kid to start also. JITS and judo.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two great places for kids to start. And I think those two have opened the wrestling aspect more. To make people go backwards and look at other wrestlings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to JITS, but now you go back and look at some high school wrestling, which will open your mind too. Hey, go look at some Greco, go look at some shoot, go look at some catch can. So I think that opens the mind up.
Well, did you know that high school wrestling programs, they really don't teach submissions. They really don't teach, other than trying to hold your guy down. There are very few submission techniques taught. They have holds that can inflict pain, but they don't have any type of pinning moves, other than, hold the opponent down until they stop moving or something. But
what do you mean?
Well,
I got to challenge you.
Please do, because I looked it up. But basically, the moves that the wrestlers are taught, in high school, obviously they're designed not to hurt the opponent because they're still kids, and you don't want.
You ever put the chicken wing?
Like I said, they have a few.
Suicide?
They have a few.
I remember going through some pain in my day. I don't know, maybe they changed it, but I
Well,
went through some pain.
the few that I was taught was just like, I can get out of this. Other than full Nelson, the half Nelson, all of those things. Where they just hold you up and that's it. And again, I'm sure there's some things that I've forgotten. But anyway, that's why JITS was the natural progression, because it taught them how to do the submission holds and everything. But the wrestling, I love what Daniel Cormier said, it taught me how to grind. It taught me how to fight through some things too, when a lot of fighters will want to quit. Because if you're not used to that adversity and stuff, because this guy is on you, and you have to get him off. You know what I'm saying? So that was the natural progression. So But hey, do we have any wrestlers out there? Why don't you call in? 214-814-5890.
Hey, want to give a quick shout out to Lang Song Traders again. Hey, for all your martial art needs here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, call 817-261-0065. That's Lang Song Traders. Ask for Tangwa. Tell her Will sent you.
And we'll catch you next week. Hey, try us MMA Radio. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody, tell your instructors. We'll see you guys next week. Wednesday nights, 7:30, 8:30.
Central Standard Time.
PM.
See you then.